Hey guys, so what to talk about? We can talk about anything. It's one video and it doesn't really matter. So I guess psychology, because I'm most knowledgeable in that. The way you think, the way I think, the differences, they come to choice. Each micro choice that you had, combined with the temperament of your brain of when you were born, each micro choice you make edges you towards a certain personality, temperament, control over oneself. But yeah, so your mind, who you are, what choices you make. You can tend, modern people can tend to be impulsive and mediocre because they're not willing to go through the painful hours because it's a long-term goal and you gain it the benefits later, the painful hours of like practicing your guitar and trying to learn songs. um, I don't really know. I was just thinking about like how I never really pick out a single sort of individual to speak about or to think about. I'm not thinking about with an audience in mind, but I'm thinking about this. I'm just thinking of average gamer brain. That's just average internet user and just degenerate to some degree. The whole society is degenerate. Things have gone so easy to access in excess, instant gratification, activities, and tools and foods and drugs and like people, they overly press the pleasure button on one particular thing that they like, and it draws them away from thinking about how their life has gone or thinking about what their life is going to be like. And like when you think about what your life is going to be like, you're like, I'm going to be I'm going to be in I don't know. I forgot. I'm just gonna let it. Every time I forget, I'm just gonna let it go and move on to the next subject. So, when you're walking outside, I don't really know. When I was younger, when I was like 13, 14, I figured out that there were websites for porn games, flash games. And I used to play those a lot. And what it did is it bored a hole into the side of my brain. It bored a hole into the left side of my brain or something like that. I was relatively healthy. I was born relatively smart. And like I'm not a pervert. One thing, I don't have the same reaction as to when I was younger to anything sexual. Um, and nowadays, these kids, they grow up and they have access to it instantly. They have instant access to pornography from a young age. And there's a whole generation of people that have this bored out brain and like these, there's like, in pornography use, there's like these dents in the brain. There's a whole bunch of dense recesses, things degenerate because you just get horny and it's like, oh, I want to make sex. And then you start atrophying the other processes of your brain because you just like don't use them. You don't, like when you have other goals, when you have other thoughts, when you're deeply thinking, you capture things and you hold on to them like they're meaningful and like they matter, like they care, like they need to be nurtured. Because everything you do now relates to everything you do in the future. And as you think about the future, you start forming an idea of where you are now, and it's like, wait, I'm gonna be 40 one day, and people aren't gonna treat me nice just because I look good. Look good for mating or cognition or potential. And like one day I'm going to be 80 and I'm going to be old and people aren't going to see me for my potential. So they're more likely to take me at face value. And if I'm just like some sort of hunched over, timid, like not very bright, poor, old man, then that's what I'm stuck with. Like, just this foolish tool set that keeps me from adventuring in life and getting shit done and achieving goals. My balls itch. It's like, what just happened? It's like there was probably, it could have just been the irritation of a micro, like, piece of cloth from my clothes getting inside of the pore. Or it could be that there was a pimple, and then that could have been a pimple, like it could have irritated the skin. Like, just micro thing like that I think about. It's like, what caused that? And it's like, probably, like, maybe a small ray of radiation burned your skin and it irritated it, or what else, got past the defenses of your anti-cancer kind of things. Well, that's it.